Fields of Fire, Mission 2, the Cerisy Offensive. This is turn 2 that we're on right now. I made one mistake last turn in placing the light machine gun team here. I should have, for one, decreased its ammo after being used last turn. That's done now. And for two, I should have checked placement before using the force package's same card designation. Aside from that, I think we are pretty much good to go. I changed the current activity to contact. It was still listed as no contact. And that'll give us a -1 to our, well, it'll give us no modifier to our command draws. Last turn we were getting a +1. So if we open up our sequence of play, this turn we are going to check for a friendly higher HQ event phase. So let's kick it off and go ahead and draw a card. Reshuffle. We can do that. All right, and we do have an HQ icon. And I'm realizing right now that I don't have my briefing book. So one moment while I grab that. As you can tell, I was very prepared for this. But I do have my briefing book now. Friendly HQ higher event. I am never going to get that right. Friendly higher HQ event. We drew an HQ symbol, so we're going to draw another card to do a random 1 through 10. And the number under 10 is a 6. 6 in our briefing book is: company on the flank is ahead. You must move forward this turn to close the gap. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. But we get an extra experience point if we complete that this turn. I'm going to interpret that as moving my units forward where it is safe to do so. So we've still got these potential contact C markers, and I'm going to take that as a sign from HQ that we need to get moving, and I'm going to move guys up into these markers, or into these cards rather. Okay, so that's our HQ phase. Next up, again, we're not in a defensive mission, so we will ignore 3.2. And we're going to go straight to our battalion HQ impulse, which is just going to activate our company HQ, which is here. So we're going to draw a card for that. And if I'm remembering right, the lower number can be reduced to 0 from 1, as in if the HQ is just receiving initiative by itself and not being activated, but the activation number, the one on the helmet, cannot be reduced below 1, if I'm remembering that correctly, and I think I am. So company HQ is going to get 1 command to use. And what am I going to do with that? I'm going to use that 1 command to activate third platoon. No. Yes. I'm going to activate third platoon because I would like to bring them up on this side, since right here is a little dangerous at the moment. I know this card is empty, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen over here. And I'd like to get at least 2 commands to create a runner to do that. Sorry, not a runner, an assault team to do that. So I'm going to use that 1 command to activate 3rd platoon. And we're going to move forward to the yep, so that was our battalion HQ to activate the CO HQ. Company HQ is going to activate 3rd platoon using its 1 command point. And sorry, I should have explained how that was calculated. Since Company HQ is green, they get a -1 to their command points. And since we have contact now, we don't get the +1 for no contact. So it would go down to 0 because of the -1, but again, because I don't think that number on the helmet can go below 1, I'm going to use that. Activated 3rd platoon. So now we move to the platoon and staff impulse of the activation segment. So 3rd platoon is going to draw... okay, 3rd platoon is also green. So they are going to draw a card, hope for the best. They get a 4. -1 brings it down to a 3. If this were a regular impulse, or sorry, what do they call it? An initiative impulse, they would use the lower number, and that could have been decreased down to 0, and they would have no extra actions to use this turn. But instead, they are going to have 3 actions, this 4 down to 3, and I'm going to move 3rd platoon up to 5. Now let's see. We can see here the maximum I can spend per day is 6. I don't have 6. I don't have to worry about that. The most I can save, because I'm green, is 3. So I'm going to lose out on 2 actions no matter what I do. So I might as well spend those. I'm going to create a runner with 3rd squad. Sorry, God. Not a runner. I'm going to create an assault team that is acting figuratively as a runner onto this card. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to spend 1 command to do that. I'm going to spend 1 command to order the assault team onto this card. And doing so, they're going to become exposed. Now, what else do I want to do here? Where am I trying to go? My objectives are right in the middle here. My attack position's to the right a bit. So really, I think that 2nd platoon and 3rd platoon are going to kind of be my primary forces, especially since we may be running into trouble over here. I mean, probably not. It's still early. What is it that... How does the quote go? A plan never survives contact with the enemy, something like that. So that's very more than likely going to be true here. But right now my plan is going to be move the right flank forward and try and swing around that way, especially because this card is open. So what I'm going to do is spend... Let me double check my... movements here. Move a platoon to an adjacent card is going to cost 2. It's going to happen automatically, and all good order units of that platoon on the same card that are not exposed are going to get to move. So I can't remember if guys can move directly into the cover there, but I'd also like to find another cover here. Let's see. I'm going to pause for 1 moment to check if guys can move directly into the cover. I'm pretty sure they can, but be right back. And yes, I can move directly into cover. So 3rd platoon is going to spend 2 command points to move the whole platoon here. And I'm going to move... I don't know if an assault team has a, platoon allegiance, as it were. I'm going to have to look that up in a minute as well. Going to move some of them into cover. Definitely those guys. I'm going to move everybody except one squad into the cover here. The assault team is not going to get exposed, but everyone else in this cover is going to be exposed. Alrighty. I'm just going to do this. That's a little more than I expected. Okay. And of course they are exposed as well. Alright, I think everybody is settled in here. The entire 3rd platoon units there are exposed. The assault team is not. Depending on the contact here, that may turn out poorly, but we'll see. Excuse the dog collar jingling in the background. I'm going to use my last command here to order 1st squad to search for cover. Now that is going to be permissible because there is a 2 here on the card, which means I can have 2 cover markers on this card. And to do so, I will draw 4 cards and look for the cover keyword. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. No cover found. That's a bummer. So 1st squad is a little exposed, but the bocage cards are pretty well defended anyway, so hoping for the best there. Anyway, that is all of 3rd platoon's actions. Pretty simple. And I'm going to make that sort of 1/2 of moving people forward. All right. And when I say moving people forward, I mean in conjunction with our HQ's mission that they gave us for this turn. So COHQ impulse for the initiative segment. We don't need that because we already activated our company HQ. Platoon HQ impulse, we still have 1st and 2nd squads to activate or give initiative to. We'll start with 1st platoon and draw a card for them. Again, they are green, so they will get a -1, and it's going to use the smaller number there. All right, reshuffle. All right, 2 -1, and that's exactly why I didn't want to risk that with 3rd platoon, is because I didn't want to risk not having enough. I didn't want to risk the smaller amount of commands because I really wanted to get those guys moving forward. So 1st platoon is going to get 1 extra action point. So they now have 3 total. And what am I going to do with them? God. If I was smart, I would have used my last point for 3rd platoon to try and spot this unit here so I could open fire on them. I'm going to move... I'm going to spend 1 command to move 3rd squad forward. And then I think I'm going to save the rest. Because I really just want guys on either side here so that I can get some crossfire on this LMG team and hopefully knock them out pretty quick. We'll see. So that's going to be 1st platoon's commands. 2nd platoon is also going to get commands. Let's see how many. They will get 2. I think they had, yep. They had 1 left over from last turn, so they'll have 3 total. And what to do with 2nd platoon? That's a little trickier. I've got a good amount of, ordnance and firepower back here to bring forward. But I think what I want to do is, for one, wait till this hill is cleared off and send forward the forward observers up to there, and probably the mortar section. And the machine guns, I'm going to wait until I know where I want to put those guys, I think. So 2nd Platoon is going to just kind of hold on to their commands right now. I'd like to have those commands available later when I really need to, make some movements. So we'll move on to the company staff impulse. The 1st Sergeant and XO are both going to get 1 command point each. What do I want to do? There's a couple thoughts here. For one, I could move the 1st Sergeant up to the bocage and then use another point to try and spot this LMG team. And let me see if I have... I would get a +1 draw because he's a veteran, so that would be 3 action cards drawn. -1 because the target is under cover. And that's all. So I would get to draw 2 action cards. That's a pretty good chance. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 1 point to bring my 1st Sergeant up here. He'll be exposed. And then spend another point to tell the 1st Sergeant to try and spot this LMG team. And let me check my... Okay, any HQ or staff can originate it, and the recipient can be any good order unit. There's a star there. Who knows what that means? I may be wrong about this. I may have to look up what the unit nomenclature actually refers to. But, this sergeant is gung-ho. He's just going to run up there and try and see the LMG team to yell back at his boys. So he's going to get, like I mentioned, 2 action card draws to try and spot them. And we're going to look for the little crosshair icon. Ha, got him. Okay. So, good news there. The LMG team has been spotted. So we're going to now automatically open up fire on everybody. I'm going to do a PDF marker here. We're going to do a PDF marker here. And, well, the fire team is going to open up as well for what that's worth. And what is my highest? Small arms, no arms, small arms. Here I have the assault team will not get to contribute because they are point blank only. Yeah, I guess my highest VOF is small arms, unfortunately. But I do get to add a crossfire marker because I'm getting a volume of fire from 2 different directions. So that'll help a bit. That'll at least cancel out the foxholes, and hopefully we'll get to do a little damage there. All right, so that worked out pretty well, better than I had sort of planned. And then the XO is just going to save his points. There's nothing I want to do right now. Moving on. General impulse. Now here I have some stuff I'd like to do if possible. How many general initiative commands will we get? A big fat egg. Great. Well, okay. I wanted to try and find, you know, a multi-story or strong cover, strong building cover in the farm would have been nice. Finding cover in the orchard grove would have been nice, but such is war. All right. Moving forward to the enemy higher HQ event segment. Let's draw for that. Pull a card. No HQ symbol, so that's fine. Now we're going to check enemy activity. We'll check every enemy activity on the map for activity. We've only got the one so far, so we don't have to worry about determining the order. But we are going to look at the enemy activity hierarchy. This is going to be defensive on their part, and I believe mission 2. The enemy is defensive, the enemy is hasty. So just kind of looking briefly at this, it looks like, you know, depending on what they are, the chances of digging in or throwing grenades is going to be a little better than the... Oh, no, I'm wrong about that. I was looking at the delay here. Mission 1 is deliberate, and there's a bit better of a chance of digging in or throwing grenades or shifting fire. Under hasty, there's a slightly better chance of them falling back, which is nice because we've got more ground to cover this mission and the same amount of turns to do it in. So I digress. So we've got the one LMG team here. Let's see which one applies to them. On same card as a US unit and not undercover. That does not apply. On same unit as a US unit, on same card as a US unit and undercover. That does apply. So we're going to use that. They are going to be hasty. So we're going to pull a card and check for a random number 1 through 3. The random number is 2. So that's interesting. A 2 is going to be fall back. So let me... This is an interesting predicament. They're going to move back. I'm assuming that they're going to reopen fire here. The problem is I'm still firing into here, and I have no way to shift that until next turn. And I think that my... Let's see, would I have even opened fire because there's a friendly unit there? Let me do a little rulebook crawling. I may need to amend that. But still, I want to see what exactly is going to happen with the enemy's PDF when they fall back. So I'll be... When I can find... There. Okay, after checking the rules, I found out some great things. I will not automatically open fire on a card that has both enemy and friendly units. And when the enemy falls back, they will adhere to the same rules as... hang on one moment. They will adhere to the same rules as friendly units that move, so they will be marked exposed. and when they move, they will keep the same target, which is my fire team here. And also, when they move, that triggers opening fire. So my guys will now open fire. So good things all around. That worked out, you know, a lot better than it could have. So now we're going to put small arms here, and we're going to put crossfire here. Awesome. Really good chance of, oh, wait. I have to think about this a bit. They're not necessarily going to move there. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. The priority is to move out of US line of sight. That is not exactly an option because I have units all along here. The next priority is to move to the location with the highest defense value. So that's going to be the village here. So that's actually where they're going to move to. Unfortunately, that is out of line of sight of 1st Platoon's 3rd Squad here. But it is in line of sight of in range and in line of sight of these 3rd Platoon units here. So, small arms, yes. Crossfire, unfortunately not. But we'll put a PDF here. Spin that around a little bit. Okay, I think we're finally good there. That was a little long-winded on my part. I apologize for that, but I think I have resolved that correctly. All right, moving forward. Mutual capture and retreat phase. We don't have any injured people yet, so there's not going to be any capture or retreat. There's no vehicles or aircrafts. We have no fire missions to update, thankfully. Or, you know, thankfully, because often I tend to run into mines and airstrikes on the first turn. Let's evaluate PC markers. We've got 2 to evaluate this time. 1 in the orchard here, and we've got 1 in the farm here. So I'm going to draw a random 1 or 2. 2. So we will evaluate the farm here first. It's a PCC, and if we look at our potential contact draw, we've got a C. We're in contact because we have 1 friendly or enemy occupied card under a VOF marker, which is our open field here. But we don't have 2+ cards. Wait, 2+ friendly or enemy occupied cards are under VOF markers. We actually do. We've got this card under a VOF marker, and we've got this card under a VOF marker, friendly or enemy occupied. So we're actually engaged. I should move up current activity to engaged. And I'll bump this up too for what it's worth. All right, so now for a contact C, I'm going to draw 2 cards and hope for the best. So we're going to draw 1, no contact. 2, no contact. Great. So we're going to return that, and then there on the card. And then for this card, which is our only one left in the orchard, I'm again going to draw 2. There's 1, no contact. 2, bump, 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 contact. All right. Let me flip open my briefing booklet here to mission 2. This is a potential contact C. We're going to draw a 1 through 10. We're going to get a 7 here. 7 is an LMG nest. So that's the same thing we got before, only this time I'm going to draw for unit placement, which I did incorrectly last turn. We're going to draw another 1 through 10. This time it's a 2. And 2 is per package table placement. So that is going to be the correct. That will be the thing that happened last time, but correct this time. We're going to grab another one of these LMG teams, place it here. They're going to be under foxholes. Come on. And they're going to be not seen. Bummer for third squad here, who is not in great shape. They're going to be getting fired at with automatic weapons. And actually, looking back on my PDFs here, the fire team is close range, not point blank range, so they actually would have opened fire back up when this this team moved back. So I will actually get a crossfire here. That's good news. But unfortunately, that means they're tied up with the LMG team up here and won't... oh, well, they're not spotted, so nobody would open fire anyway. Okay, well, all in all, could have been a lot worse. I only got one enemy out of the deal. And an LMG team isn't that bad, all things considered. Okay, moving forward again. Combat effects. So, for each infantry unit on a card with a VOF marker, we're going to resolve the attack, basically. And let's see, it's all not cumulative, what's the word I'm looking for? Concurrent? Yeah, it's all concurrent, so I'm just going to kind of left to right, top to bottom, go through this. The LMG team here, it's going to have a +3 for the village. No change from the small arms, -1 from the crossfire, and -2 from being exposed. So that equals out to a 0. So what I'm going to do is draw a card for that. 0 is a hit, and all enemy units are going to be line level. So I'm going to draw another card to see what the effect of that hit is. And it's a casualty. Great, great news. We're going to place a casualty here and return the LMG team back to the force pool window. I guess technically they're still exposed, but that's not going to really matter. Okay, great. So we took out that unit. I'm going to wait until I resolve everything before I change VOFs and PDFs, just because I don't want to confuse myself, because that's terribly easy to do. Over here in the orchard, I've got to resolve third squad here. It's going to be +1 for the orchard, -2 for being exposed, and -1 for the automatic weapons. So that's a grand total of -2, which is really not great. See what happens here. -2 is a miss. That is great. Really need to deal with this guy next turn and sincerely hope for the best and try to spot that guy. But luckily we escaped the jaws of death this turn. This fire team here it's going to be a straight -1 because there's no I don't think there's anything for firing up on a hill. I think I'm probably just yeah, I'm thinking of squad leader or something. So 0 for the open fields, -1 for the automatic weapons is going to be a -1 for this fire team. Let's draw a -1, and it's a pin. Okay, I can live with a pin. Let's see, pinned marker. Great. And nothing will change up here because more units than this one are firing into this card. Otherwise, it would get it would change to an all pinned VOF. No real effect. Okay. And then I think I did this one, I did this one, I did this one. Excuse me. I think that's all of our fire. So this VOF is going to go away, and this POF is going to PDF is going to change because now we have a casualty here instead of a fire team, and that can't fire, obviously. Okay, so this squad's still not in great shape, but we've made a lot of headway here, and have at least, well, we haven't cleared this card, but we've taken out the threat that was lingering around that card. Going back to the sequence of play, we'll go to the cleanup phase. I could read this, or I could just hit cleanup here, and that'll clean everything up, and you can get a better picture of kind of where everybody is here. As always, I'm sure I made mistakes. Feel free to point those out, and I'll try to learn from those and do better in the future. We'll go ahead and kind of reset everything to the beginning. We are still engaged because I have 2 cards with VOFs on them. So activity won't change, but the turn will bump up to 3 starting next turn. And yep, that's it for this turn. Like I said, if you see any issues with what I've been doing here, feel free to comment on that. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and I will try and get the next turn out soon. Thanks for watching.